Here's a question for the men out there. Are you making time to disconnect? Are you being intentional around stepping away for whatever amount of time from the noise and the busyness of life in order to reconnect, to gain clarity around what matters most? Jody here with Whomos USA. In the 15 or so years that I've been coaching and mentoring men, one of the common themes that continues to float up with these men, good men, is this idea that we constantly need to be doing, serving, knocking out tasks, accomplishing, and I love that stuff, and those are good things. But we almost get caught up in this doing mode, busy, busy, busy. It's kind of like, grab me a cup of coffee, which I like, by the way, probably a little bit too much, and let's get after it. But as you know, what tends to happen is we can get so caught up in the doing that we lose track, we lose sight of kind of where we are and where we want to go. When I step back and look at sort of where we are around what I'm passionate about, and that's masculinity, specifically healthy masculinity, good, strong, worthy men that bring loads of light and love, which is what we're about in Thumbos. I kind of see society, whether it's by intention or unintentional, trying to derail masculinity, and to me that's not good. So when I look at that and I look at where we are with COVID, and that's things such as social distancing and wearing a mask, I look at what that's doing to us as a society, as specifically men, and the potential to disconnect. I mean, if you look at, so we're hormonal creatures, and if we look at things like oxytocin and serotonin, cortisol, dopamine, all of these hormones are essentially just they're just getting out of balance. It's I don't want to say that it's dire, but we can do better. For example, oxytocin, that's the love hormone, that's connection, that's trust. It's also a feel-good hormone. How do we get oxytocin? Through touch, through hugs, through support, through connection. Okay, well, look at the environment that we're in, right? Social distancing, don't touch, don't shake hands. I'm not saying that's good or bad, I'm just saying there's a loss of a needed hormone there. The other hormone that comes to mind is dopamine. As I see oxytocin going lower in a lot of men and a lot of our society, quite frankly, dopamine is through the roof. It's also a feel-good hormone. It's the hormone related to reward, and unfortunately, dopamine is just firing all over the place when it comes to screen time. iPads and electronic devices. We can see it extremely well in our kids. Extremely well may not be the right word. We can easily see it or spot it in our kids. But you know what? We're not immune to that. It's one of the reasons that we get excited every time we hear a ding, that we get a notification on our phone or a like. Some of that's by design, by the way. But the bottom line is that's dopamine going off, and it's getting out of balance for a lot of us. The dopamine gets too high, the oxytocin gets too low. Serotonin's in there too as well. It's a feel-good hormone. And guess how we can raise serotonin? We can get outside, we can ground, we can get sunshine. So the point is, a lot of these, we tend to get unbalanced, and that very much includes our hormones. So what do we do about it as men? Well, there's in our daily lives, there's several things we can do about it. We can be intentional around doing things that slow us down and frankly make us feel better. For example, something as simple as meditation. I say simple, I'm not very good at it because to me meditation is hard. But what we can do as a starting point is we can focus on our breathing. That slows us down. By the way, that can be measured through something called HRV, heart rate variability. I happen to measure mine via this Aura ring that I wear. And so things like deep breathing or meditation or adequate sleep or good nutrition, all of that can start to fix some of this potential damage that we've done. Or even better, let's get in front of it before damage is done. We can get out, feet in the grass. We can get sunshine on our skin, not too much, but 20 minutes a day. All of this is great for our health, for our hormones, for our psyche, for our hearts. We can pet or hug a dog, believe it or not. So anyway, those are just some of the things we can do. But I tell you, a huge and probably one of the most effective things we can do is we can get out into nature. And this doesn't have to be a week or 2 weeks, although that would be fantastic. But I'm thinking like a weekend. And so those of you that are familiar with Whomos, you know that we have a weekend. We do a very good men's weekend. And I want to share with you just a couple of testimonials that I have from a couple of men. Actually, it's two men and one of the wives, just to give you an idea of the power of one of these Thumos weekends. And by the way, I'm sure there's other awesome weekends out there, so this is not just a Thumos weekend. But listen to this and give me your thoughts, or think about what you hear coming directly from the hearts and minds of these men. Here's one from Jason, and all these are on the website, by the way. No words can do it justice. I went in not specifically searching for anything, but committed to being open to the experience. What I left with was gratitude, love, spiritual growth, passion, perspective, connection, purpose, presence, inspiration, direction, momentum. Thumos is an experience that ultimately showed me the things I was missing in life and showed me the things that were right in front of me all along. I left in a higher state of consciousness and put many things into action immediately. This new perspective has added so much joy into my life and into the lives of others that surround me. Would I do it again? I can't afford not to. Here's one from Brooke. What is Thumos weekend? It's real, it's powerful, it's encouraging, it's inspiring. After an average men's weekend, a man is left alone to fade away. That's where Thumos is different. The weekend is only the beginning. It's the opening of a relationship with a community of men who are committed to improving themselves and the men in their community. It's unlike anything else I've ever been part of. We don't focus on past regrets and mistakes. We strive towards a strong and better life by building each other up and working on blind spots. Strong, loving men doing life together, fighting through the noise and distractions that try to steal joy. I'll give you one more from one of the wives. I really appreciate the wives giving their feedback. Here's one wife's testimony. I can truly say that my husband left one way and came back a different man in the best possible way. He came back with vision, clarity, and direction. He encountered God in ways he never has before. No distractions, no work calls, just peace. I love my husband. I love him more every day. And seeing him growing in who he was designed to be on this planet is sexy. When he came home, the atmosphere in our home shifted. I thank God for this weekend with Thumos. It's a gift to our family. We have weekends coming up for Thumos. I would love for you to be part of that. Please consider doing a weekend. If not our weekend, take time for yourself, get away, disconnect from the busyness of life, and reconnect with good, like-minded people. Thanks.